Welcome to the most excellent musical Monster Jam. My name is Eddie Rocks, and you are watching the show that focuses on local talent here in Savannah and across the coastal empire. That's right. We interview local musicians to learn more about their music and the inspiration behind their magnificent works. I'm not sure you can call yourself a local in Savannah and not know the incredible talent of the gracious Huxsie Scott. I actually went to meet her at the theater where we talked on the stage. It was cool. Here I am at the Savannah Theater sitting down with Huxsie Scott. Huxsie, thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, I am really fortunate to sit down with you. I know you're a busy person. I see that you said you just did a show last night.
Yep, in Sun City.
In Sun City, so you get around. I know I saw you here at the Savannah Theater personally in July. That was the last time I was here, and it was great. I had a friend from out of town, and you were magnificent.
Thank
just
you.
Magnificent. But today I want to kind of talk a little bit about your career and how you got to this point where you perform at this beautiful theater. I see that you started in 1973. Is that true?
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
I started working with, he was like a band director at, where was it? At Savannah State. It was Savannah State College then. And I worked with the Dixieland Cats Dixieland Band for a while, and that's kind of how I got started. It was I was on a talent show, and Mr. Sam Gill, that was his name, saw me, and then I started working with his band.
Awesome, awesome. So I know you've worked with other like jazz greats. You've worked with it says Lionel Hampton and McCoy Tyner.
Yeah, I was their warm-up act.
Okay.
You know, I worked with the Savannah Jazz Orchestra.
You were their first lead singer, correct?
Yes,
okay.
yes,
Awesome.
yes. And so we were the warm-up acts for those people.
Oh, good. Well, I bet you warmed them up well. And then tell me about Ben Tucker. You know, he is a legend here, and I never personally met Ben Tucker. What can you tell us about Ben Tucker?
That he was probably the most energetic elderly man I have ever met before in my life. I met him when he first came to Savannah because he and Teddy Adams started what was called the Telfair Jazz Society, and they did concerts at the Telfair Academy, the old building, and he was just as full of energy in his 80s as he was then.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Bubbly, great musician, very, very supportive.
So did he actually start the jazz festival here in Savannah, or how does that come about?
That's a real interesting story, because somehow, and I'm probably not sure how the connection was, but the Telfair Jazz Society was like the grandmother or whatever of what we have today, the Coastal Jazz Society. And I remember that one of their first big events when SCAD was a baby college was a benefit for me. Because, yes, in 1982 I had a heart attack. Oh. And I had just started teaching like in 1977, so there was the question of leave days and not having those. And they organized this benefit for me that I thought was a small thing, but it ended up being really big. Like the Hyatt Regency donated all their ballrooms. All of the musicians that I'd worked with over the years donated their time. And SCAD, that was a brand new institution at the time, they decorated the rooms.
Awesome.
And Freddie Cole agreed to come and be the headliner for it.
Now you said that this was when you were teaching. So this was at Oglethorpe Academy?
No, actually, I started teaching at Beach High School in 1977.
Okay, what did you teach at Beach High School?
Social studies.
Social studies, all right.
Consumer economics, yeah.
All right, sweet. And then later you would teach at the Oglethorpe Charter School.
Yeah, and that was actually after retirement.
Oh.
Yeah. I retired from the school system in '01, and I think shortly after that I started working at Oglethorpe, and I worked there for about 10 years.
Wow, well, what brings you back from retirement to teach at Oglethorpe?
Chorus.
Chorus? Chorus? You wanted to teach chorus?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Okay. I enjoyed it.
You had, we were talking earlier, you were saying that some of the chorus programs were cut out.
Yeah, I actually started working with the choral programs in school in about 1998. I'm thinking I was at a school, Tompkins Middle School, that was almost a brand new middle school at the time, and they canceled the choral program.
Oh,
And I just couldn't see that, so I volunteered.
well, I'm glad you did. That's tragic
Yeah.
when they take the music out of school.
Yeah.
It's very, very important.
It does serve as an incentive. Kids will do the things that they need to do just to get a chance to do what they want to do.
So in 1987, your bio says that you did 3 full gospel projects. Now, are these projects, are they albums or just extended play?
No, they're albums.
They're albums. Okay, so you did 3 full gospel albums. Well, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So you recorded those here in Savannah?
Yeah. 1987 was like a real turning point in my life, and for a time, I left jazz and secular music really altogether. Yeah.
And just went for the full gospel. Well, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to hear some of those recordings. Maybe we can play some of those here in the show today.
Our Father knows that sorrow's heavy chains are strong. Oh, but with His strength, you can overcome. This too shall pass, like every night that's gone before it.
Are you still associated with Overcoming by Faith Ministries?
Yes, I've been there since 1990.
So where are they headquartered here in Savannah?
9700 Middle Ground Road.
Middle Ground Road, okay.
I watched it grow, because, but it's also been great for me for growth. And I have a very, very supportive church family.
Well, I love Jesus. When I first started filming, it was all through the church. That's how I got started.
So good to know.
And
Yeah.
the young lady I interviewed just a couple of days ago, she started in the Baptist church. So there's a lot of people who begin their musical careers in church and then
Yeah.
leave it for some reason or another. They get twisted in Hollywood or something. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, I did as well, but there was a kind of a transformation that happened in my life in 1987, and I got a chance to live when I should have died, because at the point that I had that heart attack in 82 or whatever it was, they gave me really 6 months. My doctor didn't feel like I'd lived but about 6 months on the heart I had.
Wow.
That was November 1, 1982.
And here it is, 2018.
Yeah.
So in 1987, this is a testimony then.
I heard the story that everybody hears. And I was a PK. So I grew up in church, but it was a Pentecostal church. We were in church all the time, and just like kids, PKs don't like to, I think there's pressure for PKs because they think that you're supposed to be an angel right off the bat, because your father or your grandfather or whomever is a minister, and that wasn't me. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to go to church. I just thought that God didn't want me to be there any more than I wanted to be there. And I'd made up my mind, I am not, when I get to be an adult, I'm not coming unless I want to. But June 11th, 1987, I heard the story that everybody hears, that Jesus was born, He lived, He died, He rose again. And if I had been the only person, He would have done it just for me. And my heart was ready to listen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so you would say you got saved right then?
I bought it lock, stock, and barrel.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's when you got saved. Do you feel there's a time when Jesus really pulled you out of the pit?
Right then and there.
Right then and there.
Yeah, because you say that my favorite scripture, He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of the miry clay. He set me on a rock and established my goings, and He put a new song in this mouth, a hymn of praises to our God. And so my life's goal is that many would see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. That's the way I feel.
Well,
and I can do it through anything that I do because He is evident in anything that I sing. And that's the bottom line,
Well, Well, that's for sure. I could see it. I mean, you have quite a gift, quite a talent.
Thank
and I'm glad to hear that your gift is sharing the gospel across this this town, across this county, and perhaps throughout the world. You know,
Love is key, and love is who he is, and that is what I try to give in every performance that I give.
Somewhere, someday, we'll be close together. Just wait and see. Oh, by the way, this time the dream's on me. You'll take my hand and you'll look at me adoringly. But as things stand, this time the dream's on me.
Now, I know you have sang in Barbados because I saw
Yes.
that in your bio. And
Yes.
I talked to you when we were setting up the interview. You said it's getting time for you to head to the Caribbean. You need some sun and fun in the sun.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So so you liked Barbados? Do you have a connection there, or you just?
No, I just actually went in 1999 as a missionary. And what I did was I presented a program of American gospel music to kids in schools. And they, at that time, have an hour-long devotion at every school on every level. So the principals, we'd come in, they go, make sure you praise the Lord. That was what we heard all the time. And it was really nice. And then some of the kids actually knew a lot of the music that I sang. So it was fun. I did all grade levels from like pre-K to high school. And that was really fun. And then I sang at the Crusades at night.
Very good. So that's I tell you, that area really needs more missionary
Yeah.
work. I know
Yeah.
down in Venezuela too, right there, so close to Barbados, where the socialism is just rampant. That they try to push God aside and replace it with the state. But I'm glad that there are still missionaries headed down there.
Yeah, and in
It's very important.
Barbados, they don't get a lot of missionaries that look like me.
No, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, and your Fun in the Sun trip, where do you go for fun down there? Do you go to Barbados or you had
Bahamas.
Bahamas, all right.
My schedule will only allow Bahamas this year.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's good. That's good. I
Yeah.
love the Bahamas. It's
Yeah.
beautiful down there.
yeah.
Let's see. Moving on, I see in 1996, a lot of people may not know this, but we had the yachting events for the Olympics right here in Savannah, Georgia. So we had our own little torch and all that going on. And you were able to work with composer Jeffrey Reed.
Yes. He wrote a song called Worldwide Connection. And what was interesting, that was like it was the opening song for the yachting event. But also the schools participated because every school was assigned a country. And they had their own little mini Olympic celebration where all of the schools participated and they walked in dressed and representing their countries. And there was a choir of, I don't know, hundreds of middle school kids, and they were my background for that song, Worldwide Connection. Yeah.
I bet that's fun. Working with kids can be hard. Did it go okay?
No, you know, kids are real, and when you work with them on something that they enjoy, it's great. With that 1996, that was the year that I did that, and that was in July, and I was actually having chest pain. You know, this is after 2 heart attacks and 1 quadruple bypass. And I really didn't tell anybody about it. And in about September of that year, it was evident that I was having some problems. So what I did was I went to my doctor and told him, you know, so he goes, well, we'll give you a stress test. I said, I'm not going to pass it. He said, if you're not going to pass it, then we need to give you a cardiac catheterization. When he did the catheterization, guess what happened? He looked at that. He said, I've never seen a heart do this before in my life. Because at a couple of crucial places, the heart just flipped over and did its own bypass.
Wow.
He said, so I'm thinking, great. He said, you got to have coronary bypass surgery, and you got to have it today. That was September 25th of 1996. And they didn't even understand why I was still alive.
Because God is good. That's why.
That's exactly why.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is such a
Yeah.
great, more testimony. I just love it. Your life is full of God's rescue and miracles.
Yeah.
So you've 2 heart attacks, quadruple bypass. You've got you've had a injury in a car wreck. You've got some knee trouble. Yet still, and arthritis. You still get up on the stage every week How many nights are you performing here at the Savannah Theater?
Usually 6. We're
6
dark in
nights a week.
January and February, but I feel no pain when I sing. That's the weirdest thing. I might have to hold on to the walls while I'm walking up to the stage, but as soon as I hit that stage, I don't feel any pain.
Oh, wow.
I don't understand it, but I don't feel any pain.
It's a
Yeah.
miracle.
Yeah.
We can say that because I truly believe in miracles today. They happen. They're real. They're happening in your life. I'm so
I
glad
am one.
that
I
God
know
is
that,
is
yeah.
keeping you going because you are providing such joy for so many people. I know.
It is my honor to do it.
Oh, you have a beautiful voice.
Thank
It's
you.
an incredible gift, incredible instrument. I can't wait to see you again. I will see you again this summer because I'm coming back to the theater
Okay,
again and
awesome.
bringing some friends. And
Thank
I
you.
hope maybe one day you can get out to our little studio in Sandfly and do another interview if you
Sure,
could.
I
maybe.
would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I hope you had fun today.
I did. I enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me talk about God's goodness in my life. I so like to talk about that because I'm sure that somebody will hear that needs to reach for something. And the deal is with our God, if he did it for me, he can do it for anybody.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, Huxsie Scott, for being on the show and sharing all the details of your magnificent career. If you'd like to see Huxsie Scott live or purchase some of her music, you can do that at the Savannah Theater. So go to their website, find out when she's going to be singing, and go down there and buy a CD. For the most excellent musical Monster Jam, this has been Eddie Rocks. Thank you for watching.